Hello, this is Braasch. Welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be part 6 of my account of what really happened on May 8th, 2018 at Yale during the now notorious living or napping while black incident. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So I am not now remembering every single statement that was spoken, but I was conversing with the Yale campus police officers who were congregated outside of my doorway on the 12th floor of the Hall of Graduate Studies. And as our conversation continued, I became more and more concerned, and I tried more desperately to make myself clear and to make them aware of what had actually happened. I was primarily addressed by the Yale police officer who arrived late, glared at me, and identified himself as the supervisor. He seemed accusatory from the start. They informed me that they had verified the identity of the woman whom I had encountered and that she was a grad student and a resident of the Hall of Graduate Studies. Shortly after we began speaking, the woman whom I had encountered returned to the 12th floor and entered the common room. I was surprised, and I asked the officers if she was going to go back to her dorm room. They said that there was nothing they could do to make her leave because she's a resident and has a key to the room. I said that she can't use that room as a hotel room and sleep in there even if she is a resident. What happened thereafter, basically, what I remember, is that the Yale police officers told me that I should never have even questioned the presence of a sleeping stranger in the 12th floor common room, because even if I had asked her if she was a resident or a student and she wouldn't answer me, and even if I had never seen her before, and even if there were housing regulations prohibiting the use of common rooms as hotel rooms, even by residents, and even if persons had been using the 12th floor common room to terrorize me all evening in my isolated dorm room, and even if persons had been using the 12th floor common room to terrorize me for months in my isolated dorm room, and even if this stranger whom I had found sleeping in the room next to my isolated dorm room made statements to me that made it clear to me that she was one of the persons who had been terrorizing me that evening and for months, I apparently had no right to question the presence of a sleeping stranger in the 12th floor common room. Even though this was a mere 2 weeks after 2 undergraduate women had been robbed at gunpoint in their dorm room by a man who had been seen hanging out in the common rooms of their dorm. I will do a separate video about the multiple, shockingly similar incidents that occurred on Yale's campus following the May 8th incident, when Yale students found sleeping strangers, including sleeping strangers of color who claimed to be fellow Yale students, in the common rooms of their dorms and called the authorities, including the Yale campus police. Of course, nothing happened to those students because those students weren't falsely accused of racism, and no one turned a camera phone on them and then blasted them to the world over the internet. I was, quite frankly, shocked by what I was hearing. I immediately began to fear the worst. Just as I had feared that this had been a staged trap meant to provoke an incident, I now began to fear that the Yale police, and in particular this supervisor who had arrived late and appeared to be quite hostile towards me, were complicit. I said that what the Yale police officers were saying made no sense. I had no idea that this sleeping stranger whom I had found in the common room next to my isolated dorm room was a resident or a student or even a Yale affiliate. The Yale police officers told me that it was unreasonable for me to question her presence even after having been terrorized in my isolated dorm room all evening because I couldn't possibly know all graduate students and residents. But I said that doesn't even matter because even if she is a resident, she can't sleep in that room. The female Yale police officer then said that there was nothing they could do to stop her from sleeping in the room and using it as a hotel room. I said, okay, I understand. I'm just going to have to get an attorney and get a restraining order against them. The supervisor asked me, who's them? I said the persons, presumably students, who were involved in the February 24th incident. The supervisor asked me, how do you know that this woman was involved in the February 24th incident? I said, I don't know, but I strongly believe that she was because of the statements she made to me inside of the room. The supervisor asked me, what statements did she make? I said, she said, are you that lady who called the cops on that party? You are that lady who called the cops on that party. I understood her to be referring to the February 24th incident. The supervisor then asked me if I had ever seen the woman before and if I knew her. I said no, I had never seen her before. Then the supervisor asked me again if I had ever seen her before and if I knew her. I said no, again no, I had never seen her before. Then the supervisor said to me, and in this tone, well, she sure knows who you are. And I said to him, well, apparently so. The supervisor seemed to want to change the subject. The supervisor told me that he didn't believe me that there was a prohibition on sleeping in the common rooms. I seemed to be getting nowhere with the Yale police officers. They seemed determined to cast me as the wrongdoer, but I knew that I had done absolutely nothing wrong. I had been repeatedly instructed by the Yale administration and the Yale campus police to call the Yale campus police for any reason, even if I was unsure as to whether it constituted a safety risk or no. Then the supervisor told me that he was going to let the graduate school dean, Lynn Cooley, know what I had done. I was shocked. I said to him, you think I did something wrong? I can't remember exactly what he said in response, but I remember him saying something to the effect that I was the one harassing another student and that he was going to let the graduate school dean know what I had done. I said something along the lines of, please let Dean Cooley know because she is fully aware of what is happening here. I am not harassing anyone. I am the one being harassed. I have been harassed for months. The supervisor seemed angry by my response, and he seemed to misunderstand what I was saying. He replied to me with something along the lines of, oh, that's fine. Don't worry. I know Dean Cooley too. I know her very well. I've known her for years. I was completely taken aback by this. This was the response that made me know that I was in very serious trouble and that the Yale police were determined to cast me as the wrongdoer and to cause me harm, and I was really scared. I tried to explain again that I was the one being harassed. I literally said, no, you don't understand. I'm the one being harassed. I said to the officers, you don't understand what is happening. Please speak with Dean Cooley. She knows what is happening here. Please read Officer Grace Schenkel's police report that was filed on March 9th. It explains everything that is happening here. Okay. So I'm going to end there, end part 6 of my account of what happened on May 8th, 2018 at Yale. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with me.